soul stands up, but now I'm starting to need to bleed to fill this cup. It's like I'm starting to need to bleed to fill this cup. Oh.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Working Wing, the podcast where every week, some weeks, most weeks, we watch some episodes of The West Wing and break them down from our own unique working leftist perspective. My name is Tim Schultz, and joining me, as always, my dear friend, longtime debate partner, and a man who sadly, tragically, has fallen for that classic bourgeoisie trap of holy matrimony. Killian Collins is here.
Well, as an anarchist, you really always should know, Tim, that heterosexual relationships are inherently unequal. And honestly, participating in that type of thing is true. You're already like keeping all of it down. So you should really.
That's true. All relationships are hierarchies. So
right. So you should really.
Well, that's why. I mean, I have good anarchist practice in that regard, just by being like terminally single. I am.
Tim, you have to like go out there and mosh until there's no differences between like race or class or gender or any of that. Like, and only moshing is gonna do that.
Oh, okay, for sure. We'll just drop ecstasy and head out to some clubs then.
Well, yeah. I mean, that helps you with moshing, I guess. But I mean,
yeah, I think ecstasy really is the key to what you're talking about. Anyway, yes, that's Killian is married now. That's why we've been off for the past 2 weeks.
I was gonna say, oh yeah, I'm married now. I was a little busy here and there getting all the old even though we haven't honeymooned yet. In true millennial Gen Z fashion, we haven't really honeymooned. Like,
you delay all the fun stuff for a later day.
You have to go back to you have to do like the sweet little Bob Burgers thing. You have to you have to go back to work because you're fucking broke.
Oh, I thought you meant you have to protest at the Capitol like that one guy did.
Oh,
well.
Anyway, speaking of fun things for college kids to do, we get to the third episode of the fourth season, College Kids. So I'm imagining this is like the campaign trail in kind of September-ish, where it's like getting down to it. They're doing the rock the vote bullshit.
Yep. Oh, we'll get into all of that.
Yeah. So we start off with President Leo in the Situation Room, taking on, still like cleaning up that mess they made of Kumar with, assassinating that Sharif guy and lying about it.
Yeah. Well, and like they keep doing this thing where it's actually pretty incisive political commentary if you take the president at his word, where he like calls his assembled staff in the Situation Room a street gang.
Yeah. Well, later on, Leo makes the analogy of like, well, like we're a mafia, but like we're the good guys, and it's like, well, it's funny because like the mafia pretty much just uses the structure of like the Roman government to just, establish what their hierarchy and how they do their business and like who answers to who's accountable to what. I mean, and that's really all it is. It is like a big racket at the end of the day. It's a matter of like how you're remembered is usually by like what you're doing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It becomes clear that the president doesn't need to be here. At this meeting.
No, not at all. And you're really taking off that mask of it doesn't really matter who's really back there. It's like that's kind of all for just like, pressing shits and giggles. The people who actually got their finger on the button, they are making those conditions are being made by them and only them.
Yeah. And the president keeps trying to bring up the whole Toby and Josh situation, and just absolutely nobody, including Leo, cares. They're just no one gives a fuck about where Toby and Josh are at.
Yeah, it's like, did they wind up on making a murderer or something? Like, were they like found dead in like an auto salvage yard? Yeah. President's distracted by the campaign. He gives a stupid anecdote about like the Middle East.
Oh yeah.
The Middle East is hot.
Yeah, the Middle East is hot, and that's why everyone's mad.
Oh, are you sure? You sure it's because like Israel isn't being used by like a U.S. like a U.S. aircraft carrier, like a giant U.S. aircraft carrier? Like that's not causing any problems. Oh, okay.
Right. We don't need to go back to like the 40s and like British colonial policy to figure this out. No. Okay.
No. It's totally fine to like let the British just give away land and call that liberation, like, land that they stole, because they're giving back to the people who not the people they stole it from directly, but the people who they say they stole it from.
The Bible says it was stolen.
Yes, from the Bible, from the God that they're paying attention to. Yes. The president. Oh yeah. CJ is with the press on AF1. Babysitting them. Yeah, exactly. There's this like back and forth about Title IX, which I'm assuming is some college athlete bullshit.
Title IX is the one that like I think it's like I don't know the details, and I didn't bother to look it up because that's not how we do things here. But I think Title IX is just like equal funding for all sports programs at a college, or like college programs have to get a split of the funding. So UW can't just fund its basketball and football program. It also has to fund like women's programs. It has to fund its baseball team. It has to fund like a tennis team or whatever.
Okay, so it can't just like funnel money into what's successful.
Exactly.
Okay.
They do anyways, but Title IX ameliorates that. And honestly, I really don't care that much about Title IX. I'm kind of with Bruno there. I really felt Bruno where he's like, there's a bandwidth in here about things I can care about, and some things just aren't in that bandwidth.
I wasn't in college sports, so I mean, honestly, I could.
Me neither.
I don't know what the fuck's going on.
I don't even watch college football. Like,
all I know, my experience with the college kids is when I was working on State Street in Madison at a pita pit. I'm not even sure if that place is still there anymore, but the college kids are the people who had those little food voucher things that they had paid for by the state of Wisconsin. And they always tip me because they made sure because I hooked them up with double meat, and I made sure they fucking got it too. I made sure that like their athletes got their protein going in. So like,
well, that's our tax dollars at work, folks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, shout out to you guys for at least like making sure I had food in my belly while my boss was ripping me off for like less than $500 a week.
That guy was a piece of shit.
Oh God. Oh yeah. Tim and I can attest to an old story that we can maybe tell some other time. Anyway, yeah. Then Sam shits on like, yeah, third party in the debate, like, and this is kind of like the whole Democratic strategy of like, well, yeah, these third party people taking away precious votes from
right,
entitled votes from Democrats.
I mean, a lot of the conversation across these two episodes really does kind of mirror exactly the arguments I am still having on Reddit like every week about whether RFK should be shot for being a traitor to like the Democratic Party or whatever.
Oh my God, Tim, what the fuck? Jesus Christ! Okay, give that man some security because like this guy's crazy. All right.
Well, no, that's not my position, Killian.
Good. Like I don't be doing that shit, dude. We don't support leftist adventurism here on the Working Wing. All right, just we support working.
Oh, of course not.
Jesus Christ.
We're just working.
Yeah. I'm fucking working. Jesus Christ. Anyway, I mean, I hope that's not your position, but like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what these.
Well, no, there's like a sense of entitlement from Democrats that like anyone that isn't Trump has to vote for Biden, and anyone who is at all a challenge to that is a traitor.
Right. And it is very strange this year because there's like 8 fucking independent candidates that like all aren't going to have a debate. I doubt there's even going to be a debate Joe Biden in the office. And that's like if they don't find someone to replace him, which is looking just, it's like, well, I mean,
they should find someone to replace Biden, but Biden is a megalomaniac who will never give up power.
No, they bet on the wrong horse for like that. It's like, oh, if he has to do the right thing and step down, he wasn't going to fucking do it. And also, too, they don't really have anyone really waiting in the wings who's like ready to take it on. Kamala Harris pretty much got the VP position because she threatened to like go, oh no, I'll be one of the Democrats that say Tara Reade's right if you don't make me VP. Like I'll call you a predator.
Well, and the demographics were good. It's the same reason Biden got to be vice president because you need some demographic balancing.
I mean, he could have gone with Stacey Abrams, but I think Kamala was willing to play dirty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyway, it does make it strange when it's like you have like all these candidates. It's looking like we're gonna have Jill Stein again for the Green Party. Let's look like, right, which honestly she's looking like a stronger candidate than any of these other motherfuckers.
Fourth time's the charm, Jill.
Hey,
fourth time's the charm.
The Green Party has always been a mess, and the Libertarians are quite literally clowns. So
yes,
it's pretty much like it is pretty much just like, well, what do you got? Like Colonel West. I mean, still Afro Man is looking like my candidate.
Oh
like,
yeah, no,
I'm
still rocking with Afro Man. I haven't heard a better pitch yet.
If only his campaign manager would like post more on Instagram or something,
or do anything. I
mean, yeah, and then I wrote down who was big dicking Donna, like the new Mrs. Lanningham. I think it was it fucking was it Charlie?
Oh no, it's Sam. Sam is big dicking her. I have a note about self-important Sam is the worst Sam because she's like, I didn't have to file this paperwork for the last job, and then Sam goes,
well, now you do.
Thing about you got a button on your desk that can crash the White House. This isn't your last job. It's self-important, smug self-important Sam is the word Sam.
To have a person that just needs a good old hypothetical smack. The staff talk about the Iowa speech. Leo brings a lawyer into the Situation Room.
Yes. Well, all right. And as he walks, he says he works for the good guys, which is a big question mark.
Right, the mafia, like Al Capone did.
Yeah, Al Capone worked for the good guys. And then he also makes some jokes that I'm sure you can appreciate about divorce and alimony and stuff. I'm sure you, as a married man, now find that type of humor both relatable and hilarious.
Well, I mean, at this point, I can joke about it now, and now divorce jokes actually have like weight to them.
Yeah.
Like, now when I joke with my wife about divorcing her, we actually laugh a little harder at it. It's actually. As she eyes up like the very little that she would get anyway.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I mean, Leo is rich. And so when he tells Jordan, because Jordan is complaining about his like lack of communication, and he's like, hey, you could tell it to me now, or you can wait 30 years and tell it to a judge, and then you get half my stuff.
And it's so funny because it's with those, I just do have to say, for like these type of fucking like urban elite marriages, it does really seem like it's just like, well, I have like this much K now. Like, what do I need you for? Like, I make 500K a year, dude. Like, what am I doing with you? Like, I'm fucking somebody else. Like, what am I doing with you? They're making more money. Why am I hate you? Like, why is that? When it's like when you're with me and you're like your working class marriage, you're just kind of like, well, I this person's working through me through everything, and I'm already putting them through hell by being with me with all my bullshit, with all the stress, and
right.
I guess that's the person for me. But it's just so funny how transactional it gets, which is like, I wonder why Leo's last marriage didn't work. It's because he was working. It's because that dedication to the office.
That dedication to the office, man.
But he lets her know. He lets her know that yes, that we have information that like, oh yeah, we play little war games where we have like Shinto North Korean nukes like launching together both at us at the same time.
Yeah, he is totally strutting. He is strutting his stuff, and I guess this is his way of flirting, of like, look at this national security apparatus that I control.
Which she doesn't go far enough, and she should say like, hey, you want to show me the bullet that like killed Kennedy? Like, hey, you want to show me like the alien that like you have from Roswell or something? Like, give me something real here. Give me something that's gonna make Joe Rogan want to interview you or something. Like, give me a fucking break. That's like fucking mid 2000s. People are fucking amused by anything. And then he says that state secrets are at risk, warning that he will definitely Chelsea Manning her and take a shock collar to her neck and push her up again, and not slam her against the wall, but push her against the wall gently. Like
right. He tells her you won't go to prison for disclosing this, but it's like, oh, actually,
I think Julian Assange would have something to say about that from Marsh prison if he can still talk. Like, if for real, dude, like, like solitary for confinement for that fucking long, like, they just want to break a motherfucker, and they'll call it not being in prison. Or they do the what do they call it, like jet therapy, where they'll just like keep you awake on a plane and just like drop, like just fucking keep you going like that for days if they can.
Or she winds up in a luxury apartment in Russia. That's also an outcome that's on the cards for her.
Hey, I mean, asylum, it's there, man. Like if you really need it, take the motherfucker, because these motherfuckers here won't do it unless you're a slave to them. And we get the president. Oh yeah, talks about the Sharif assassination, and they destroyed evidence, and we'll fuck you up if
yeah.
The president is on Michigan campus reading the manifest, like what manifesto or the
no, he hears about the manifesto and then he gives a speech. A good speech. I mean, it's a good speech.
It's this, violence in school, society, and it's the same old.
They weren't born wanting to do this, which I think Barack Obama later echoed in like one of his viral tweets as president. He was like in South Africa and he took a picture of like a white baby and a black baby playing together in their crib and talking about how racism is a learned trait. And
good thing he, did so much to do that by kicking all those people out of their houses right away. Nothing like economic disparity to like show people like of different races and cultures that, they all really are the same to the banks. But we're not doing nearly enough. And that's why I hated the speech, is that like we're doing so much, but we're not doing nearly enough. And it's like, well, yeah, guys, this is you won't pack the courts, which is like why Roe versus Wade like will like disappear in 20 years. And that gets brought up later on too, which I think is funny. Yeah, but for that line, he gets standing ovation for we're not doing nearly enough. And these next 4 years, I'm going to do it. And I would like Biden to take the Biden campaign, take that into effect of like knowing that like, yes, we're not doing nearly enough is like a very bad slogan.
Well, I was actually arguing with people last night about that specific thing where like Biden just wants to run around touting what he's already done when he really hasn't done much of anything.
Which is shit. Like, it's like you really don't have much to show for it.
Right.
But people will just say like, well, he passed all these bills. And they kind of just pull the whole, like, you're not paying attention enough. It's because you're ignorant.
Right. Exactly. You're ignorant. It's like, no, it's because you're like, the rest of the world is doing so much worse. He's brought us out of the pandemic. And it's like, great. At most you can say we're back to where we were at in 2019.
He pretty much did the same job Trump would have done with
most people weren't in a good spot in 2019.
No.
Like, I'm sorry. If you aren't rich, you're not really happy with how things are going.
No. And if anything, like with the 2020 pandemic, it was kind of like a mixed bag, even so, with how people were getting, because it's like, yeah, half the, like some of the country, like you were saying, your household was doing a lot more, had a lot more income, and mine did for a bit, for a bit too. But it's also like half my
or our friend Mike was like, yeah, I'm making more on unemployment now than I was like as a, he was like an events coordinator for like cosmetics companies. Like, I get more on unemployment now than I was doing that job before.
Or you could have like owned, or you could have been working for like a smaller business that like completely went under, or you were working in the food industry or something where it's.
I think his job did eventually go under, but
yeah, I mean, and that,
but those enhanced unemployment was like, I mean,
that was helpful.
That was helpful. Everyone is in such a shitty spot that those enhanced unemployment benefits were actually like, oh shit, like this is better than what we had before.
I know it's better, but like it still wasn't enough.
No, it wasn't enough. Like maybe if we had something like UBI, people like.
But
that
here's
would be better, right?
But here's the problem. Also, like, I mean, this gets with Andrew Yang too. Is Andrew Yang's UBI, especially where it's like cutting all social benefits and having just UBI be the thing, which is also like this. It's kind of like the $600 check, but that's just all you get all year. And they're saying that's the problem, that's the thing there. And also too, there's like no incentive to like, if you have a UBI, that landlords won't just take advantage of that.
That's true.
It's
it needs to come with other things like rent control and stuff like that.
It needs to be less vague and more well thought out and like a really clear vision. And I think that like, going towards something like that, yeah, but I still overall see UBI as like just kind of a tweak to make capitalism work a bit better. And it's like still not gonna.
Yeah.
So there's still problems with it, but it's like I respect the discussion about it though. It's like it's not. I don't think it's worth dismissing. The president told Leo to tell his lawyer about sheriff shows.
Yeah. Oh, we get this weird scene where like it starts with Leo just like doing some food porn where he's just like lovingly describing an egg salad sandwich. And then he's also like he's trying to do a charm offensive against Jordan here, but like in his creepy old dude type of way.
Yeah, their whole vibe of this is very weird, but it's like Sorkin likes these weird fucking man woman will they won't they in a work environment vibes. But it's also weird too because like Leo is like telling her it's like I'm available. And it's like, and she's like, you're paying me. And he's like, I like that. I'm into that shit. It's like,
I'm into that shit.
It's like Leo's.
But again, let's not look into like why half of his female staff writers left over the course of his run on the West Line. Let's not look into that.
Coming soon, The West Wing, a closer look. Toby and Josh returned to the White House. Bonuses CEOs gave themselves.
Yeah. Okay. So I want to break this down.
Yeah.
Because this is a big thing. They talk about it in this episode. They talk about it in the next episode. It's like, this is Aaron Sorkin, like crafting a policy of his own and trumpeting how great it is. And it fucking sucks. And it's out of touch. And it completely misunderstands the problems of college finance and how bad the problem is. And even the nature of the problem. The nature of the problem of college finance is not that like middle-class dads were struggling to like self-fund their children's education. Middle-class dads, even by 2000, could not afford to self-fund their children's education. That was already out of reach. Like my dad made pretty good money. He could not afford to send us all to college because that was just ridiculous.
Yep.
And so the idea that like, oh, we'll just give you tax breaks. And then when you pay for your daughter's Notre Dame education out of pocket, you'll get a tax break for that. It's like, no, the problem is systemic exploitation by the college industry. And like
when they see that there's a loan program.
Right. Like 3,000% like inflation over the course of like a decade in the cost of college. Like I remember the fight my dad had with my oldest sister the first time she went off to college and asked him for money for books. He thought that she was trying to rip him off because her book bill was as much as his tuition for an entire semester at Marquette.
Like when
you're clearly trying to scam me here. Like
when he was going there, right?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It was like $800 for books.
Yeah, in the late 70s, early 80s, he's like your books cost as much as my goddamn tuition. Like, what the fuck are you trying to pull on me here? Like,
she's like, Dad, no, look at the receipt. No. Well, I did not know that. I mean, that is crazy though, but it is completely true. It is like the way that colleges are financed is like nothing more than like an exploitation factory. And also because of that, education has severely suffered because now you have all these institutions that are just money grubbing and not really teaching you any skill. Which is like if you're noticing that like America all around the world with all of these like really gifted technical programs, we're importing a lot more people from other countries than we used to. And that part of that reason is to like also weaken these other countries, but it is also because like we're having a shortage of like educating our own people because it's too damn expensive to educate our own fucking people here.
Yeah, exactly. And they keep moving the goalpost of like what you need to do in order to get a job. Like the neoliberals the neocons worked together to destroy the industrial base of this country.
Yep.
In the 80s and 90s, and they were like, it's okay. There's a new economy, the infrastructure economy, the information economy. Just go get IT certifications, and you'll all be fine. Within 10 years, all those like base level IT jobs and like programming jobs, they were gone. They were all in India and other parts of Asia, just gone.
Yeah. And they're
like, well, oh no, you need to be a developer or you need to be a business consultant, and that's how you're going to get a job.
But when you like spent like, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars that could have gone to a house or could have gone to like a car or anything, and you spent that all in tuition.
Okay, I'm glad I spent $40,000 to become a computer programmer, and then that job just got shipped to India for someone to do for pennies on the dollar.
Right. Like it just gets shipped out, and only because of the way that technology is moving. It's just these boom and busts, which normally if it was a rational society, these blessings of innovation and technology would be like wonderful advancements for humankind, as they should be. But no, much like a self-driving car, it is like we see it as like a disdain, and it is going to wreck our lives, and it is going
well, it's because because in the framework of capitalism, we are all headed for a fucking buzzsaw because I mean,
there's a boom and bust cycle, and you're going to get caught up in it again either way, pal. You're going to go down the drain either way, one way or another, and it's always going to happen that way. There's no way to escape it. Especially depending on when you were born, which is like the increasingly big old ticking time bomb. Okay, where were we at?
Anyway, the court hands down a ruling, which would never happen in real life, that it's actually illegal for the Democratic Party and the Republican Party to exclude anybody from the debates.
Yeah, that wouldn't that be nice? But
that would be nice.
Like you have a bit of a clown show every time, but it's like you'd still.
I would just love to see Cornel West on stage with Joe Biden, just like launching fucking grenades at him. Like that would be pretty fun.
No, that would be great, but I mean, I also think he'd be shit. But it.
Cornel West would be shit. Like no, Cornel West kind of is shit. But
he was better 20 years ago. I'll give
it'd be
him
good.
That.
It'd be good. It'd be good. It'd be a good seater.
Yeah. I mean, or even have Afro Man up there too, because
Afro Man just being like smoke weed every day and fuck the police. Like that's my platform.
It's like literally like stop funny. Oh man. Yeah, then the staff is in. Yeah, so the staff gets this news about the third party being, they're having a debate with a third party. Staff is in the Roosevelt Room. They're trying to exclude third parties any way they can.
They say the judge is crazy. The judge actually just sounds based as fuck. Actually, sounds like my kind of judge.
Yeah, that sounds like
he's just like writing crazy poetry and shit, and like talking about like duopolies.
Deborah is getting. She's getting yelled at by Charlie about some comment, some joke that she made about like the president.
Debbie is also based. I also like Debbie.
Right.
She made a comment about like, it was like drinking water. It was like a huge contamination problem in Indonesia. And she's like, let's put arsenic into the president's drinking water and see if he delegates responsibility to the IMF there.
Right. Which is just like a cheeky joke. But of course, like, Charlie is going like insane.
We were shot at, Debbie.
And it's like, and she's like, do you think I'm going to actually poison him? Which is like, like that's, the president and CJ talk about the Michigan speech. Leo, President Fitzgerald are talk about stalling tactics, and they say, well, let's just lie and said the Sharif went to Libya. Like,
they are literally organizing like a disinformation campaign.
Yeah. Special agent gives info on some libertarian group being holed up in a barn. Then the House of Blues with Rock the Vote is playing in Massachusetts, and they're having their little get the college kids out and vote. Very cringy.
Bare naked ladies love President Bartlett.
Yeah, they do. The bare naked ladies love those fictional presidents. Yeah, Toby and Josh negotiate that little the little Sorkin bill that you were talking about.
Yeah. It's like this is Sorkin's original policy proposal. Like he is really behind this, and it's so funny every time they talk about it.
Yeah. He's like, it would work really conveniently for me. It's kind of like when
right, exactly. It would save him a lot of money. It would save him a lot of money for sure.
CJ gives like a speech that Hillary Clinton would be envied to have, that to wish that she had this kind of reception. Probably imagined that she was like CJ from this episode for some of these speeches.
And they have like Alice and Janney out there, and like Alice and Janney is a good person for Rock the Vote. I don't think CJ Craig is.
No.
And it looks very weird to have her in like a tight, like midriff bearing t-shirt.
Yes.
Trying to like shout at college kids. Like it felt weird.
Like what do we feel good about? And then she started naming a bunch of things that like they're never, that like 20 years later we still don't fucking have.
You want, yeah, exactly. Like you want houses, you want kids,
how many of you guys got student loans, credit card debt? Well, hey, you're gonna keep
not gonna do
forever.
a goddamn thing. Like, yeah, don't worry. The economy is gonna collapse in like 3 years, and you're all gonna be fucked.
Hey, do you guys like clean water and clean air? Well, hey, don't worry. There's going to be this place called East Palestine you're going to know about. Yeah. And then the Secret Service gets some, they find the owls in the bar, and it's a Waco situation with a kid inside.
But they're also a bunch of meth heads.
So. They're a bunch of meth, and they're going to flashbang it, and, probably, and I thought they're going to kill the kid. That's what I thought that was what was going to happen. Leo's lawyer was, telling them that they're going. Leo's lawyer is basically saying that, you guys are gonna, from what you guys told me, you guys are going to The Hague.
All right. So it's interesting because no, they absolutely aren't. Like, no, like countries can assassinate people without any, like India. We literally just caught India trying to assassinate someone un-American, and like the biggest thing that's happened to them is Joe Biden canceled his visit there.
Yeah.
Like Saudi Arabia murders someone, assassinates someone, and like nothing happens to them.
Nothing.
Russia, like Putin kills people all over the world, and like we're just like, yeah, Putin, don't do that.
I mean, the people we kill around the world, like it's just
right. Yeah, the people we kill around the world, like
I mean, we created
international law is a fucking joke.
I mean, we kind of like contributed to this whole system. I mean, it's one thing if you're a country that like has never done a wrong like that. Show me that one day too. It's just like Jesus Christ, like. But it's just how is justice served in secret? Justice. How is that really justice? Like they had that little line. President has a moment for Debbie, the arsenic comment. She apologized. He says you're keeping your job because you at least like you put respect on my name while you said that. Which is like, yeah, of course she knows how to do her job. Color Revolution, or the Color Revolution's in full swing with some hippie song about like remembering the memory of MLK, probably without addressing how he died at the picket line or anything like that. Like just doing the whole like liberal viewing of MLK without any like any like the radicalism he was really getting into, and like really was the thing that like got him shot. Donna and
that's a James Taylor song. Okay,
James Taylor song. Alrighty. I it must have been like some recognizable song because it's like I don't know. They did the smart thing at least of editing it where it's like you can hear the lyrics when people aren't talking, and it's like so you don't get. I hate it when certain shows do that shit where it's like you're trying to have lyrics that mean something and then you're like putting it over dialogue that you need to hear, and you're just like, God damn it, just pick a side. Joshy's Amy at the event, big surprise. She said she misses him, and she's saying like, well, yeah, I'm prepping Stackhouse for the debate.
Right, they find that because like when the debate decision is handed down, they're like, oh, Stackhouse will drop out. He's not gonna do anything, and then they find out, oh no, he actually might want to like get up and say some stuff.
Yeah, he wants to actually use the platform to actually do
which.
If you're a third party, like, why would you not? If you actually care about these issues that like aren't going to be brought up, it's like use the platform, like get concessions for dropping out.
Yeah,
because that's what you should do. You should go to the bartering table because guess what? I could threaten the election for you, and you should use that bartering power to like everything you got. Everything you got. But too bad none of these presidential candidates running third party are going to listen to that either. They're just going to fucking shot from a protest cage for the most part.
That's true.
And yeah, Toby's still going on about the rando from Iowa. Kind of like,
they like call they call the dude. He's like, why are you calling the dude? Do you really need to call him?
He's like, I was being stern with my wife because because I have to tighten bills and I couldn't have steak tonight. Right. Then we go into the Red Mass, episode 4 of the 4th season. Starts out with a meeting with Amy with Stackhouse, and he's saying, they were talking about like some strategy they should use with like Josh and Donna, and Amy basically says that like Josh is going to figure that out. Like Donna's going to figure that out in 5 minutes, and Josh is going to figure out sooner than that. I can't remember like what their strategy was again. No, it was Richie had
needle
a statement.
Exchange. Yeah, Richie had made a statement about needle exchange. He wanted Stackhouse to respond to it, so then the president would have to respond to it.
Right. And they were just wondering, they were saying like whether he should take the bait or not. Amy was saying be cautious.
Amy was being be cautious, but Stackhouse, like a true G, was like, aren't I here to like speak my mind about shit? Like, why am I doing this otherwise?
Yeah.
Which I mean, again, yeah, like I have that note, like you were saying, like I wish we had third party candidates like that.
Yeah, there's a reason all these people are in fiction, like these damned like third party dissidents or like Democratic dissidents. Like if only they had some courage. Josh and Donna, I know as Richie's gonna Josh and Donna talk about bullshit, and Josh says that he knows how Richie's going to win the election.
They do that moment a couple too many times in this episode. They do. Like, I know how Richie is going to win.
It's with this damn third party. It's with this damn Ralph Nader stand-in, because that's kind of the way I see this. Is that this Howard Stackhouse is a Ralph Nader stand-in.
Yeah.
Except
further like to the left than Ralph Nader was, though, I think.
Yeah, and also way more of a testicle, I'd say. Like, yeah, because Nader overall is just kind of like a criticize corporate like watchdog. That's way more what I consider him. Still better than most of our motherfuckers, but yeah, CJ and Toby talk about low expectations for the debates. They're talking about how many debates they're going to have. President says, let's have 5 debates. I'm going to fucking sweep him. I'm going to sweep him up. He's an idiot. And that's what they're pushing for. They're pushing for 5 debates. And CJ is concerned and telling Toby that we need to like actually lower the expectations of, we need to like not set the expectations of Richie too low, because if he turns out to be at all competent when we say he's a bumbling buffoon, then we're going to seem like, we're going to be sitting on our hands with that. And
I think, again, I mean, I keep pointing to like the presence of like Eli Addy, who was like a senior campaign official for Gore on the writing staff of this show now. And it's like, I really do think that was his fantasy of like, oh, if Gore could have just, gotten Bush on stage and really nailed him in a debate, that would have been like, look how smart our guy is. And it's like, no, I'm sorry, kid, but like that's just not.
When overall your mealtoast policies are going to be the same as Bush's.
Right, exactly. And like I had another thought too of like when they were talking about like we want a debate on like foreign policy, I'm actually reminded of Obama Romney.
Yeah.
I think they had like 3 debates, and one of them was about foreign policy. And it's like Obama and Romney had the exact same foreign policy. So it was like an entire 3-hour debate. I watched all of it. I was very into like following that race. And it was just them agreeing with each other the entire time, but with like nuances and shit. Right, and trying to say, no, I'm going to kill more Afghans. No, I'm going to kill more Afghans.
No, I'm going to be harder on them. No, I'm going to be harder on them. Like, no, okay, but you don't know how much I'm going to spend.
Yeah, exactly.
Kamar's heating up. Israel's looking like they're going to get like a little smack to the face. Josh and Amy's tension during the Stackhouse meet, which already was contentious. Josh leaves for some air. Charles has this like sexy little honeypot that he's giving orders to, and his
like a random little like honeypot who's just there to like
to be like
commentary.
should I use sex to like get what I want? And he's like, do whatever you want. And it's like literally, it's also I wonder why Aaron Sorkin like had all these female writers quit.
They want to do it, Killian. They wanted to do it.
Okay? Yeah, right. They wanted to. Oh God, but little bro is like frustrated, and he's like, he asks like, "What's red mass?" And then he gets lectured, and
then this kid is quite rightly and naturally being like, "Yo, I thought the government wasn't supposed to have a fucking religion in this country."
Yeah,
which is a pretty fair thing.
Yeah,
it's like, yeah, kid, you're fucking right. They're not supposed to.
He cites a separation of church and state, which is like, but then he's handed the Constitution, which I'm not sure if it's in the Constitution necessarily. Like those exact words, because I'm trying to think of like, well, where were those words like exactly like? Because I'm just like, I know Thomas Jefferson's famous for those, but I'm like, well, what? In what
I think the text of the government shall like make no establishment of religion or whatever.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about the term church and state because I think it is kind of reminds me, it makes me think about when people like do have, because it's like the kid knew what he was talking about, but it's just like, but Charlie does the whole like, where's it from? Where is it from? Like, what's it makes me think of like Bible school or something where they're just like, well, what's this passage from? Like, what chapter? What verse?
Yeah,
where it's just an annoying like,
it is a very annoying style of
right where it's like this person is correct on it, and it's just like if you can just fucking tell them, like as opposed to just like no, just pedal through this boring fucking.
No, he's trying to turn it into a teaching moment. But yes, the actual text is Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof.
Okay. And that's very and it still Barlow gets into it. It's like it doesn't prohibit.
It doesn't say that government officials can't practice a religion. You just can't have a law about it.
You can't like make it like you're like the Roman Senate where it's like you'll have to like go to this one little worship thing like you could with like being the Pontus Maximus, like how Julius Caesar used.
Or even like what still exists in Britain today, where it's like, oh no, the Church of England is still the official state religion of Great Britain, and like you do need like they have like religious classes in state funded British schools.
You know what's weird, Tim? It's weird how like wouldn't you kill to have America be as secular as like what Britain is?
I would in theory, like yes, but there is the fact that they do still have like an official religion.
I know, I think that's like such a weird thing where it's like the place with the state religion is like has more secular people than than the country that is like we will favor no religion and like so many fucking people are religious.
Yeah,
like so many.
No, it's weird.
It's just confounding. It's just a strange thing. I don't know what to like even say about either one of the things. I couldn't, because I would even think that it's like even if you do make like some weird obscure religion, let's say America got a state religion, it was like
and like I think part of it is that like the head of the British religion is the monarch. So it's like we have a religion and the head of it is just this like shitty 80-year-old woman. Like I think maybe that would turn people off religion.
Hey, 70-year-old man, okay?
So now it's a 70-year-old man. You're right.
Hey, he's a fucking spring chicken, okay? And he's gonna live forever.
Imagine if the pedophile had gotten to that job. That would I would just be very on the
nose. He's still probably a pedophile to him. He's probably covered it up.
Just more careful than his brother.
Right.
That could definitely be.
Like I have no doubt, man. I have no doubt. Sam and this pretty lady flirt while talking about this fucking senator or congressman person from Orange County. Some district.
Sam. Yeah.
I say this is a character, no one of these characters that just like is thrown in to be like, hey, I want some pretty young thing to like, I want to shake her hand and hug and kiss
Right.
her.
I think I have a note about that somewhere later, but it's like, oh yeah, no, Dems would never nominate an old person of like questionable health
No, they wouldn't do that
for office. We wouldn't do that.
No, dude. Like they got Feinstein out of there like as soon as they know that she had any problems. And Jerry Nadler, yes, he literally shit himself on camera 5 years ago, but like he's still totally competent. Okay.
The fact that Diane Feinstein was allowed to run last time is fucking insane.
The fact that Nancy Pelosi is going to run again.
That's also fucking insane.
Probably Mitch McConnell will probably run again.
Mitch McConnell will probably.
His opponents will play that video of him staring off into space, and he'll win.
Yes, exactly. Like, no, Dems are never going to win in Kentucky, but Donna is going undercover with like a MLM / like motivational speaker operation.
Yeah, like.
Leo is the most Jewish person any of us have ever met. I don't know if you knew that, Killian.
Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know that. I don't think I was paying attention to that part too much.
Oh, he's like given a like a Cross of David award, and an old dirty yarmulke for all the service he has rendered to the Jewish people.
Like
do you not remember this scene?
I don't remember.
We see Leo at an award ceremony. He's talking to like some Jewish diplomat.
Oh, that guy sent on the plane.
Like, the guy who sent on the plane. But like before that, there's an award ceremony. He's like, Leo is the most Jewish man any of us have ever met, and he's done so much for the state of Israel. For being the most Jewish man, he gets this dirty yarmulke that's been in my pocket since 1973, and for everything else, the Cross of David.
Hooray, Zionism!
Yeah, exactly. But it's like, well, and then he's like talking to this guy about all this high level like political intrigue they're doing, and so I have a note, and it's like, if I were the Secretary of State or Defense under President Bartlett, I'd be like, what the fuck am I doing here? Why, like Bartlett does not need a Secretary of State or Defense because it's all being run by like a 60-year-old recovering drug addict.
It's like, why do we keep getting these debacles, guys? Like, I don't understand. It's
I have a note that just says Dean Phillips, and I don't know what that's in reference to.
Dean Phillips. I
mean, Dean Phillips is he's challenging Biden in the Democratic primary.
Oh, and for the Democrats. Well, right after this, Amy and Josh argue about unlikely voters, and he's like, he does the whole, they're taking the president's votes. And I'm like, well, that does kind of fit in line with how Biden's.
Oh, right. Oh, before that though, there's another scene in the Situation Room where Mike Casper is talking, where Asian Coulson is talking about how they're about to take the House, and you can tell, you don't see, because there's standards and practices, but you can tell that Coulson has such a raging boner when he talks about what the FBI is about to do to these people. It's like, yeah, we're gonna throw some flash grenades in there. It sends out a flash that's twice as bright as the sun.
And that's before they got their drones too. So like they got lots of fucking scary toys now that'll like fuck up any technology or phones, and then like probably blind you and fuck you up if you try to have any sense of defense whatsoever. But they're gonna save a kid, so I mean this is all justified. Amy and Josh argue about over unlikely voters. He says that she fought dirty, and I just kind of decided like you guys have a toxic relationship. You guys should.
They do have a toxic relationship.
And he's taking the president's votes, and then she says, that's the insane part of your argument. And
they're like, not his votes. And it's like, yes, Amy, you're fucking right. Yes, Aaron Sorkin, you're fucking right, except I don't think you really agree. I don't think we're supposed to agree with her there.
No. Yeah, it's supposed to be like she's too ignorant to like, decide. Which honestly, she comes around later on.
She does come around. She comes around. Like Amy is supposed to be well, it's like, can't mess with Roe v. Wade.
Which is gone in 20 years anyway. Like it's literally gone because of the people that you elect, because the people that you kept electing saying that, well, we need to protect Roe versus Wade did not protect it.
Exactly. With like multiple periods where they had the president, the House, and the Senate all under their control, and they just never moved on Roe v.
Because
Wade.
they wanted it to be a bargaining issue. Because
Yeah, it was a
didn't.
fundraising issue. It was people like Amy gave them lots of money to protect Roe v. Wade, and if they actually protect Roe v. Wade, that money stops.
And instead of like building their own organization to actually hold these people accountable,
right? Well, and also, yeah, like they just relied on, I guess, the nobility of John Roberts instead of like building their own. There is no left equivalent of the Federalist Society.
No.
That like actually trains and recruits and elevates justices up the system en masse.
Lawyers aren't like it's not normally like the working people's type of profession. You kind of have to build a movement first and hope that like these some of these lawyers who are in the system who are sick of fucking screwing over poor people can get out of it themselves and want to contribute to it, want to use the skill for some other things. But it is about building a movement. It's hard. It's always seems a lot easier to just tail onto these bigger fucking vehicles that are gonna fucking give you a goose chase and not give you what you want, because all they're chasing is power, and they will to beat their Republican opponents, they will become them. No problem at all. Like,
and the actual good lawyers either like are activists or they just have podcasts.
Yeah, pretty much. You can only do one or the other. Donna and Josh recap her little Richie's consultant thing, and
got a pretty good bit where she pretends to be like a converted cultist. I thought that was pretty funny.
No, she was. I wouldn't say converted cultist.
I found the light switch, Josh.
I would just say like, yeah, they went to their little multi-level marketing like scheme thing. And they're really motivated to sell berries now.
Yeah.
But yeah, then Josh just goes off. He rips off Kant and Plato, and they can't just consume this. And it's like, well, yeah, conservative idiots consume that shit all the time. That's why Jordan.
Right. Well, and then like Josh starts doing a W. Bush impression.
Yeah.
When you're a great American leader, and it's like, actually, most of the shit you're saying just sounds like a standard Biden stump speech to me. Yes. Honestly, where he's just like, build the middle class. We're gonna build the middle class. I care about the middle class now.
You need to protect democracy from the MAGA Republicans, and I'm gonna defend it. Yeah, on dumb philosophy. I just had like Southern impression of dumb philosophy. Sam asks Leo about Horton Wild, and Leo gives the response I basically would expect from the Democratic establishment. Yeah, well, we don't care about districts. We're not going to win. So, like,
right. Yeah, which it happens all over the country and like at all levels, which is how like my cousin, who was a dentist in Fond du Lac, ended up running for the state house here in Wisconsin, because it's just like they the Democratic Party in Fond du Lac knew that she was going to get killed, but she was willing to put herself out there. So it's like, whatever.
Hey, they want to be that sacrificial lamb. It's like, what can we do to stop them? They got yes. They don't want to win those districts anyway. CJ comes again with like the low expectations thing. She says, "Okay, well, no,
there's more to that conversation with Leo and Sam, where he kind of basically comes out and says we killed Sharif, and then like refuses to admit it. There's also some deeply like Islamophobic shit where he's just like, to fix global terrorism, should we just carpet bomb Mecca? And if that's the solution, why the hell don't we just carpet bomb Mecca? It also includes a stunning condemnation of Sam's generation, where he calls Sam one of the great minds of his generation.
I'm like, you intimidated that hooker so good. Okay. Yeah, Sam's figures his okay, yeah. right after that, the Waco thing was a success. They killed the terrorist. The kid is alive in the hospital.
Was trying to get into the human trafficking game, offering to like give one of his daughters to Agent Coulson.
Right. He's already in the Epstein gang. But speaking of airplanes, apparently one of the airplanes, transport airplanes to Israel, went missing, and they're trying to look for it.
And Generalissimo Leo's friend is on the plane.
Yep. The president is going over the joint press statement while the football game is playing on TV. CJ is pressed on low expectations. She suggests offering, well, let's just do one debate and we can just pick the format and we just make sure it's like the best debate.
Right. Well, this is Eli Eddie's real like power fantasy about Al Gore. That it's like, no, if Al Gore had just had George Bush on the stage, had a chance to really push him on every issue, then people would have seen how smart Al Gore was, and then he definitely would have won the election.
And sometimes that shit does not play out the way you think it did, and I think that was evident in 2016 too. With the Trump and Hillary debates, where they're like, well, let's make this a town hall, and people can see how much of a creep Trump is, and you could still clearly see it, but it just was like 3 hours. It just was 3 hours of like uncomfortableness and like
Hillary is an uncharismatic ghoul who everyone hates, and still, if she had just like campaigned in Wisconsin and Michigan, she probably would have won the election.
Because, well, people were willing to put up with I was willing to put up with her bullshit just to get her elected, but hey, she didn't care. She didn't care enough to care about anyone else's vote. She assumed that we all should have been that desperate.
Right. She sent Bernie to Wisconsin, and it's like, you all like Bernie, that'll be fine. And it was not fine.
No, it was not fine at all. The red masses. Oh yeah, and then yeah. So then Charlie asked the president, okay, so like, what's up with the red mask? Like, why is it okay? And the president's answer is like, fuck it.
Fine. Some fiat. Yes, we all come together. All the entire U.S. government and the Supreme Court, we all get together and pray to our Christian God for his guidance and wisdom in what we're about to do. But that's
we meet in the lobbies and talk about, just general stuff. Right? Like nothing to do with like, any common interests that we all have together, or, we just talk about God's shit. Apparently Amy is there for Red Mask.
Yeah, Amy is just chilling in the White House. Like,
yeah, like it's like
the Red Mask. She's like a guest at the Red Mask, but the Red Mask is at the National Cathedral, not the White House.
Right.
So Amy is just chilling at the White House randomly to talk to Josh.
Right. To tell Josh that she's quitting Stackhouse's campaign, that she's voting for the president because Roe versus Wade, and you don't mess with that. And you also like don't get shit when you back up candidates with no backbone. So she makes a balloon animal for him to tell him that she still likes him, and they continue on their toxic relationship.
Yep. Then don't worry, guys. Sam is still working on the issue of like fundamentalism and violence, so we're fine. We're fine. Sam's on it, guys. There's no need to sweat it.
Greatest mind of our generation.
Yeah.
Toby then berates CJ for going down to one debate and has the reasonable point of like, well, what if he's like, what if he like falls down the stairs? Like, what if he like fucks up the debates totally? Like, what if he grandstands?
Or what if this MS victim in a high stress situation, which is exactly when MS attacks happens, as an MS attack.
Right. Which she says then, we'll lose. But also the point of here's my other thing too. It's like, well, like Toby does have the point, but if that's the case, then why would you just like, because Toby's saying like just one debate. So
but
it's
then
like
5 debates is also more opportunities for all those things to go wrong.
Right, exactly. It's just like, oh, so you want him to take more plane trips to like have more debates where he's just focusing on that.
Like I know Barack Obama, like again, going back to that 2012 campaign, in one of those 3 debates, Barack Obama totally ate shit.
Right.
I don't remember which one it was, but like there was one where he's just like, he was sweaty, he was like stumbling over his words, he was like forgetting points he was going to make, and it was bad. It didn't end up mattering, but like,
and here's the thing, and that's not particularly awful. Like debates can go way worse than that,
right? But like Nixon versus Kennedy, like Nixon lost that election because of that debate.
Yes,
because he looked like a old sweaty mess next to like young, perfect Kennedy.
Which tells me that this year that the Biden campaign will do everything in its potential power to not have a debate at all.
I don't think there's going to be a debate. I don't think Trump wants a debate either. I don't think there's going to be a debate, a presidential debate.
I think Trump would want one with Biden because he did so well with the CNN interview. The little press hall thing. I think he gets better press from that. I mean,
he's skipped every single Republican debate so far
because he doesn't need to debate the Republicans. He's already won with them.
That's true.
Like it's like the most popular guy in those debates is like Vivek Ramaswamy. The establishment is trying to push Nikki Haley, and she's eating shit too. It's like Vivek Ramaswamy is probably the closest one with any charisma there, and I don't even think he's going to get like a VP nod from Trump because I think he's a little too shiny for Trump's taste. He shines a little too bright for him. So I think he's going to pick some fucking droll.
Tucker Carlson probably.
I think even Tucker's a little too like. I mean, he's a little too charismatic. I think he needs some nobody like who has like no recognition because Tucker's on doing favors anyway. Like it's like I don't think he.
No, that's true. It won't be Mike Pence. It'll be some other like.
It won't be Mike Pence.
Republican.
Yeah.
Some governor who zero charisma.
Yeah.
Maybe Mike Huckabee or something.
Yeah, it's any of those are possible. I think you'll see the bidding war pretty soon.
Yeah, definitely.
Then the president and Stackhouse talk admirably afterwards, and this Ralph Nader stand-in gets his like street cred for like, oh, you've always stood up for the right issues. And then he says that, well, I'm going to drop out and endorse you tomorrow. I'm literally not going to accomplish anything I've ever done. And
but then the president is so moved by this that he's like, yes, I will take on your hot button issue that you wanted to raise and answer questions about it.
Which is like what he was going to do. And it's the same thing. It's just like, oh, well, yeah, it's like if you want to be a friend of the Democrats, they're not going to be your friend unless you like suck their dicks and give them all your money, and they still might not even like you. It's pretty much.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Like it's like they will still totally like Bernie Sanders like did more campaigning for Hillary Clinton than she did, and they still said that he like lost her the election. Like it's like literally it's like you can give them everything they fucking want, and it's like you were still their fucking problem. And that's kind of like that's one reason why they have become so fucking unpopular. Is it's like they're like how Republicans are with many people. It's like, yeah, you can try and trust them, but like you really shouldn't at all. Which really is the only thing. That's the only point I ever get with conservative coworkers or anything like that. Is it's like, well, the best I can really do is like I can't convince them Democrats are good because they're not at all. I don't believe that at all. All I can really do is to convince them that the Republicans are about exactly the fucking same. Like I might have to like kind of like listen and see what issues they care about, but more than likely with everything in their life that affects them day to day, the bread and butter issues, they govern the fucking same.
Yep. No, you're absolutely right.
All right. Well, I mean, so I guess we're starting into like the campaign season pretty strong. I guess the next couple episodes we'll just do right after another because it's we're staying in this campaign heat. Like I imagine our filler episodes will come a little bit later on.
Yeah, there's definitely some filler coming up. Let's see here.
Shout out to our one Twitch viewer right now. How you doing?
Yeah, what's up, guys? Yeah, I think definitely like the next 4 or 5 episodes we'll definitely be watching. There are a couple in there that we can after that there'll be some episodes we can skip.
We'll be back with 2 next week, folks.
Yes, next week we will be doing episode 5, Debate Camp, and episode 6, Game On.
Nice. Rockin'. Well, until next time, folks, we'll keep working, but you keep working.
Keep on working.